This building shouldn't still exist. Some of the beams around us were growing in 1350.
People constantly walk in here and say, wow.
This is the largest surviving historic timber-framed townhouse in the country.
26 Westgate is extraordinary. There's probably been a building on the site since the 12th century. We've got the rear part of the building, and that dates from the 1580s. And then we've got this part of the building that we're in at the moment from the kind of 1610s, early 1620s. So, I mean, just amazing to peel back the layers of history.
When people come in from the outside, the shop looks like a small shop. You've got a small front. And they really, oh my goodness. It's a very quirky building, and we have quirky things to sell. So they match.
We are very lucky to have this building. To Gloucester, it's incredibly important. Children and schools and tourists can now come into the building as an antique centre, not a museum. They can wander through 7 days a week. The very first time I walked into the building, the thing that struck me most was the size of the place, the scale, but it had been derelict for a decade.
So it went on the Heritage at Risk register about 5 years ago. The register isn't a badge of shame. It's very much a positive thing. It's a statement of need.
The urgent repairs were £750,000. We spent £400,000 and we got it off the at-risk register. We just had to do it, had to make it work. There was water pouring in through many parts of this roof, these valleys, slates missing, leadwork missing, rotten wood. The sides of the building, lots of that was falling off and decaying. You know, there was pigeons living up here. Nobody wanted it.
I did a sort of whole recording project on the building as the restoration work was underway. So while we could get on the scaffolding, we were able to go up and have a really detailed look at the frame and do some drawings, and then investigate the interior of the building as well, and try and tease out the story of the building, basically. It's like spotting something in the wild. Can you see there's a kind of deliberate burn mark just there? These are thought to be kind of protective marks. The way they were created was by burning the timber and then clearing out some of the charring and then burning it again. So you actually get this kind of divot in the timber. It's nice to imagine that these are people who were living here and cared about the building and occupying the spaces and protecting them in these sort of ways. I think that's really special.
This building has been loved by so many different people throughout its history. The man who built this was a tycoon, and he is said to have wanted to create in Gloucester a shop the scale and size of those that were fashionable in London at the time. It's a Tudor skyscraper.
This building was actually quite gaudy, you know, and we think of timber frame buildings as sort of black and white. The timbers themselves would have been painted originally, and they would have been quite a bright red colour. And this would have been the original 1580s exterior of the stair tower. We've got original pieces of glass deliberately set into the render. They must have kind of caught the light and sparkled on the exterior of the building. And the stair tower would have been a really prominent feature, sort of rising up above the surrounding buildings.
This building is incredibly lucky. It survived almost by accident through what we call benign neglect, where the side elevation was encroached on by the neighbour very early on. The building never changed because it's physically difficult to do so. And so the historic timber frame, including details such as the original glass from 1622, is locked in and preserved.
It's been protected by the building next door, and it's probably been plastered over internally as well, because we've got these nail holes where it was sort of concealed, and that means that it's kept its kind of complete kind of leadwork and glazing from the 1620s, and it's got this very elaborate sort of geometric pattern to it, which must have kind of just created an incredible facade and a very elaborate sort of glazing pattern.
It is a wonderful space. There's big open rooms, you know, you've got a feeling of height. Everywhere you look, there's history. We discovered a gargoyled face that had been there for well, hundreds of years. We found marbles as well in this room and the floor. We had moments where render came off and underneath the timber was in really good condition. There's only one way to repair a building like this, and that is sympathetically, with love, using traditional techniques, understanding how the building was put together in the first place.
Restoring a building like this isn't about making it perfect. It would have cost a fortune, and it would have scrubbed away the patina of age that we so value. As we look around the less used areas of this building, we're seeing old plaster, we're seeing cracks, we're seeing patches, we're seeing holes in the floorboards, and we love that. And I think the public looking around the Antique Centre really value that as well. It's part of the fabric of their city, and we're really delighted to be able to sort of help them conserve it.
Even as a researcher, even as an academic, you still enjoy that sense of how people have used the structure and continue to use it. You know, it's that lovely evolution that just is going to carry on, and the building's going to continue to change.
When I first came in, I thought, oh, no way this will ever be an antique centre, because it was just all sort of derelict. But within a few weeks, it had been turned around, and it's a beautiful place to be now.
I've gone from feeling like it was a major headache to now knowing intimately every single part of this building, and I feel at peace when I'm in here, really.
The more restoration that's been done, the more we've discovered, and I'm sure there's a lot more that we will find out about the building.
I am a custodian. It is my duty to pass this building on to the next generation in better condition than we got it in.